Welcome to Read to a Child's remote Read Aloud program. My name is Paul Lamoureux, and I'm the CEO of Read to a Child. Read to a Child is a national literacy and mentoring nonprofit that harnesses the power of the read aloud. Research shows that reading aloud to children is the single most important activity for eventual success in reading. In our flagship program, which is called the Read Aloud Mentoring Program, an adult is partnered one-on-one with an elementary school student for a weekly read aloud experience. This special relationship typically lasts for the entire school year and often extends for multiple years to the end of the fourth grade. Our program uses thousands of community and corporate volunteers from over 150 organizations in the metropolitan areas of Boston, Detroit, Hartford, Los Angeles, and Miami. Now, however, we have extended our programs online to reach children remotely, and today we are Zooming live with elementary school students from the Center for Success in Detroit. The Center for Success unites literacy and community to empower students in the journey of education. A big hello to all the students on the call today, as well as their leader, Maury Anderson. Nice to see you all. Also, a big thank you to POW Kids for allowing us to do today's Read Aloud. POW Kids is a publishing company out of New York City that provides diverse and imagination-fueled books for kids with a focus on stories that combine unique themes with contemporary subjects. And they deliver meaningful stories with outstanding visuals that will delight children and adults. Now, it's my honor to introduce today's guest reader, F. Anthony Falcon. According to Anthony, he grew up as a little Mexican kid, reading books and imagining the world he could create in his mind. Studying history since elementary school stirred him to research his Native American heritage, hoping to find his connection and pass his family's stories to his son, Lakota. Science fiction and historical fiction are what he loves to write, but he discovered he has a gift for writing children's books. His dream of becoming a published author was fulfilled in May of 2019 with the publication of his debut picture book, Be Brave, Be Brave, Be Brave. Excited about what the future holds, he continues to write stories he hopes will inspire and cultivate the imaginations of people all over the world. He currently lives in Corpus Christi, Texas, with his wife, Victoria, and son, Lakota. Welcome, F. Anthony Falcon.
Thank you. Appreciate being here. Thank you for this great opportunity to read to the children and to read to a child. I've been wanting to do this for a little while, and I'm very thankful of this great opportunity. How's everyone doing today? Good, I hope. So I grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas, but I also lived in Los Angeles, and I grew up in projects and grew up in neighborhoods that were very challenging. Had a single mom, and she read to me every night. And it's very important to read, especially if you want to be a writer. Reading is so great for you and your imagination, and to cultivate that and to escape into those worlds that we love to see and watch, especially now on TV. But reading is the basis of it, and just very glad to be able to read this to all the children. And I hope this will inspire you. I wrote this for my son, Lakota. He was born during a very challenging time, and it called for everyone around us to be brave. And I wanted to give him something that would inspire him as he grew to face the challenges of life and growing up, knowing what it was like. And this is kind of my ode to him, and knowing who he wants to be when he grows up. And also it's about identity as well, about feeling comfortable about who you are and where you come from, being proud of that, and just looking to all of those things to help you to may face all these challenges as you youngsters grow into the adults and the young adults and, get bigger. It's important to have people around you that can be brave, and for you to look back to the things that help you be brave. And I hope this is the message that you will take after we read this story today. So without further ado, I will get started, if that is okay. Be Brave, Be Brave, Be Brave by F. Anthony Falcon, illustrated by Tricia Mason, published by POW Kids Books. The day that you were born, your mother and I were so scared, but we had to be brave. Your mother labored for many hours to bring you into this world, and she was so brave. When you arrived, you were sick, and so was your mother. Everyone was very worried, but we remembered to be brave. We wanted to pay tribute to my Native American ancestry, so we named you Lakota, after the Lakota Sioux people who, in their time, had to be brave. But our first moments with you were short. The doctors rushed you away, and your mother was in danger. She badly needed care. The choice I had to make to leave your mother's side and follow you was terrible. But for you, I had to be brave. I watched the nurses work to help you while they tried to explain to me what was happening. Exhausted and heartsick, I kept telling myself, you must be brave. When I knew you were in good hands, I ran through the hospital to get back to your mother's room, not knowing what I would find. I thought about the wonderful memories I had of my mother. I remembered the powwow she took me to when I was young. I remembered the singing that would fill your ears, the drumbeat you could feel in your soul, the dancers so full of grace in their regalia. This was how my mother showed me who we are and passed to me the gift of my culture. I wondered in fear if you would lose the chance to have memories like these of your own. Without your mother by my side, I didn't know if I would be able to be brave. My mother, your grandmother, used to take me, my sister, and my brothers with her to visit her brother, our uncle. We were amazed by his collection: spears, bows, arrows, and a shield as well. They had been made by indigenous people like us in the past. My mother believed it was important for us to see the pieces of our heritage and to know how proud our uncle was of being Native American. My mother taught me that to be proud of who you are is to be brave. When I reached the hospital room, the doctors told me at the door that she had done her work and your mother was out of danger. As I walked to her side, I knew I should be strong for her. She struggled with her recovery and was always in pain, but the smile never left her face. I never knew someone could be so brave. The sun rose and your mother finally got to hold you. We felt the worst had passed, that we had finally made it. But just as we believed our life with you was about to start, another storm decided to turn our way. I put my arms around you and your mother and told myself, be brave, be brave, be brave. A historic storm named Hurricane Harvey approached our hometown of Corpus Christi, Texas. The sun was out and the wind was barely blowing, but off in the distance, the sky was darkening. You could feel that something was coming. 13 hours after your birth, as the weather predictions became grave, the hospital evacuated you to San Antonio in an ambulance with your nurse. As we followed behind in our car, we were so sad for our family, our home, and our neighbors, but we knew that they would be brave. On the road to San Antonio, the traffic was backed up for miles, and all of the people were leaving behind everything they had, uncertain of the future. As our Native ancestors were forced to leave their homes by strangers who claimed it for their own, we were also on a trip we didn't want to make, unsure if we'd be able to return. That they found the courage and strength to endure their struggle helped me understand what it means to be brave. With so many fleeing the storm, the drive to San Antonio took twice as long as normal. It gave me time to think about how much I wanted to share my heritage with you, as my mother had with me, though I don't know how. Our connection to our tribe is lost to us, gone with the relative no one remembers or even met. The journey to reconnect with the people and traditions we were separated from will require much from us, but for you, Lakota, I will be brave. When the storm passed and it was safe to return, we saw the damage the hurricane had done. We saw Rockport, Texas, with its houses collapsed, boats on land, and debris piled high. We were lucky that our home was spared the worst when so many South Texans had suffered terribly. But the courage of our neighbors held strong. I wanted to be out there with them doing my part to help rebuild. But after all you and your mother had been through, I was needed at home. Our friends delivered tank after tank of fresh water to the towns of Port Aransas, Rockport, and Aransas Pass for days, as the families there were with even clean water to drink. With the support of each other, our community showed its determination to be brave. And then life with you started. Your mother and I hardly got any sleep, but we were so happy. One day you were crying and crying. We couldn't figure out what troubled you, Lakota, but I knew who to call. Soon your aunt arrived with your grandmother and great grandmother to help. I held you up to them in my hands. Your great grandmother brought out a bundle of dried sage and lit the end on fire, blessing you with its fragrant, gentle smoke. In no time, you were calmed and fell into a very peaceful sleep. It reminded me of something from my childhood I'd forgotten. When I was a little boy, my mother would perform the same ritual every month. She would burn sage throughout the house to ward off the negative energy and bless our home. Early in the morning, she would come into my room and go to the four corners, reciting words under her breath and interrupting my sleep. I didn't understand then, but I know now that this was her way of giving us her love and protection, just as I give you mine, little Lakota. Watching your great grandmother give the same blessing to you reminded me that you have a beautiful family that will always be here for you, even when you cannot be brave. I knew a moment had arrived. We took you to your room to put you down for bed, gazing in amazement at the life we had created. Your mother sat next to me while I had a talk with you. I had thought about this moment all my life. There were 2 words I wanted you to have with you always. 2 words that would be there for you when times got tough. 2 words to always fall back on when you don't know what to do. Be brave. I told you folk tales and legends about our native ancestors, how they lived and stood up for their way of life in the past. I told you of Geronimo who persisted, Cochise who led, Crazy Horse who fought, Chief Joseph who resisted, and Sitting Bull who united. Each from different tribes, but joined by the adversity they faced. To protect their people and their traditions, they made very hard decisions. Sometimes, to do the right thing, you have to be brave. And then I told you what my own life has taught me. Embracing a culture and heritage whose traditions are unknown to most of the world will call for you to be brave. You will grow up in 2 worlds with different beliefs, and it will be difficult because not everyone will understand. But you need to be brave. You must be who you are. Show everyone that you are proud to be Native American. To say it is to be brave. Have a good heart, show compassion, respect people, and for those who aren't able, I expect you to be brave. Your mother and I will always be here for you, Lakota. And when you go out on your own, remember what we taught you. Most of all, always remember to be brave. The end.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you.
Now, I understand that some of the children have some questions for you. Madison, do you want to ask your question?
What inspired you to write books?
I was inspired to write books by my mother. Like I spoke about earlier, she read to me every night at an early age. When I was your age, all the way through my elementary school years. And when she would read me these stories, they were so full of adventure and excitement. And it didn't mimic what my life was like growing up the way we did. And so it was my escape. It was kind of like watching TV, but in my own mind. And as I grew up, went through school, I realized I like to tell stories. We all like to tell stories sometimes, but I really wanted to tell some great stories, use my imagination and make up stories about knights and castles and astronauts and things like that. And so what happens is when you read a lot, and when you have someone that reads a lot to you, or somebody believes in you, they can really help you look to what you want to be when you grow up. And my mother was definitely the person who set me on that path and put that in my mind to aspire to write.
Is it fun writing books?
Hello, Donovan. Great question. I like that shirt too. That's awesome. It is fun writing books. It's just like when you watch your TV shows or your cartoons or play your video games. It's kind of like if you could write your own or make up your own, make it whatever you want to be, anything you want to add, anything you can think of that makes you happy or is fun. You can add all those elements into writing and you can make it your very own. And you can do that even now, even at your age. You can get a piece of paper and a pencil and write whatever you like, and you can create the story any way you want. If you want your character to go back in time and save a bunch of people, or if you want him to be a fighter jet pilot, he could do that. Or if you want him just to be someone trying to change the world, save the environment, you can do that. And that's what's fun about writing books, is the limit to what you can create is only what you can think of with your imagination. And I highly recommend for you to do that. And your teachers are there to help you with that. And it's great to be able to build something that belongs to you yourself.
How long did you struggle before becoming over your struggles?
Struggle comes in many forms. It comes in mental struggles where you're trying to overcome something, or fear if you're worried about singing in a play or performing in front of your class or having to stand up and read something. Struggle can come where you live and where you grow up. And definitely, I believe that struggle makes you a very strong person. And when you can overcome it, it sets you up great for life, because there is a lot of things in life that will make struggles and challenges. And sometimes we look at things when we're young and we think that maybe it's not fair, but that's part of your struggle. And what you do in those moments, Carter, is you look to the people around you, just like I said in the story about being brave. In order to get up there and read that story in front of your class, or sing, or take part in a play, whatever it is that's your struggle, your individual struggle, you can look to be brave in yourself. You can look to your mom or your dad or whoever inspires you at home that's there to take care of you. That's inspiration. That's brave. And you look to that to overcome your struggle. And it takes a while, because it's ever apparent. Struggle will always be with you throughout the rest of your life. But you manage it, especially when you have people that care about you and that love you and that want to give you the things that you need, the tools that you need to be a great individual as you grow. You look to that strength, to the strength that they've given you, and you be brave and you overcome that. It will always be there. I still struggle today with a lot of things. Sometimes it's my writing, sometimes it's as a father, and sometimes it's just overcoming challenges that life will throw at you. But I will tell you something. I will promise you that as long as you can always look into yourself and you can find that strength that you hold within each one of you, you can overcome anything. It is possible. And when you can't, you go to someone who loves and cares for you, and they will help you overcome, and they will be brave for you.
What was your biggest struggle that you had to face?
Sometimes it's a struggle when you're at school to fit in, to be part of the crowd, or to want people to like you. Because when you're young, you don't understand everything yet. And it's easy for children to say things or do things, maybe kind of bullying, and not really understand that you're a person and you have feelings. And so in elementary school, I did struggle with, bullying and dealing with stuff like that, especially where I grew up. It was a tough place. There was a lot of tough people there. And that was my biggest struggle at your age, at the age that you're at right now. It's just finding that strength in yourself to stand up for yourself and to be a good person, and to use those examples to help you grow, so that you can always treat people with the respect that you expect out of people. And that's a big thing that's got me through those years in my life, is to be strong, and to treat everybody that you meet with respect, because most of the time, 9 times out of 10, the people will reciprocate that, treat you exactly the same that you're treating them. And then you can form some great friendships. The biggest advice that I could give you young children is you can do anything that you want. You can be anything that you want. Lean on the people around you, lean on your teachers, on your parents, and you'll find friends that'll inspire you, that'll help you, and you push each other. And I absolutely believe that one day, if writing is in any of y'all's future, if that's what y'all want to do, I guarantee you I'll see one of y'all someday writing a book when I'm a lot older than I am now, but hopefully not too old.
Let's give Anthony a big round of applause, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time. I just want to quickly say I'm thankful to Powell Kids Books, to Powell out of Brooklyn, who has made all this possible with this book, and for continuing to look in that bag of diversity and great stories, and tackling social issues. It's very important this day and age to look at that. This book probably isn't one that would have got published maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, but because of great publishers like Powell, it's here and it's out in the world, and people get to experience it and share that message of being brave when things get tough. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Center for Success. Your kids were great. I hope you enjoyed that. And everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you.